Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a Cat's Hit the Deck review of the Morgan-Greer Tarot. If my voice is off, it's because I have some fluid in my ears and I can't really hear myself. I was unable to record any videos yesterday, although you're not going to see this the day that I record it anyway, but I'm just saying that. I would have recorded this video yesterday in my time, but it hurt too much to talk, so it's coming down a little bit, but it's still kind of effed up. So if my voice is weird, it's only because I can't really hear myself. So I'm doing the Morgan-Greer Tarot. I don't have the original box. Mine came in a cardboard box. It was kind of tattered when I got it. It was like a purple box. I keep a purple band with them, which I don't have on right now because I'm going to be flipping through them. So Morgan-Greer Tarot looks like this on the back. Some of them come in a tin. I did not want a tin, so I got mine in a box. So here's the Morgan-Greer. It comes with a title card. So this one's printed by US Game Systems. Originally printed 1979, although this one, I don't think it says on them when this, oh, hang on, maybe it says on the packet when it was printed. Probably sometime within the last 5 years. This says copyright 79 and 93. So sometime between 1993 and 2020, or 2019, whenever the hell it was that I got this. Probably 2019. So it comes with title card, a little pamphlet, not an actual booklet. I really like the artwork on these. It's super 70s, and I feel like it goes well with the Aquarian Tarot, although I find that I don't use them together as much as I thought I was going to. Sort of skinny, tarot-sized. Are these shorter? They might be shorter than the other. Just check for comparison. They're just a little bit smaller than other semi-standard tarot-sized cards. Very curved edges, which is nice. I like that. I have never really liked the backs, and like, I appreciate the stars. So it's just got a little thing about Bill Greer. And just trying to skim this because it's talking about the case book, and I don't know what that is. But it's images by Bill Greer and the system somebody Morgan. Hang on, maybe it says in the intro. Morgan-Greer Tarot is the first modern deck based upon the combined research of these two leaders in the field. They're talking about Arthur Edward Waite and Paul Foster Case. Still doesn't say who Morgan is, but whatever. I don't really need to know that. Anyway, so it's got an info card, a little picture card. Oh, under the direction of Lloyd Morgan. Alright, whatever. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 12 folded up little pages here for this packet. It has a little tiny blurb about each card in reverse and upright, and talks about Celtic Cross, or Celtic Cross spread, which I don't really use. I don't know how to, even though I've read it a couple times, so just information. about the cards. Handy if you're starting out and you just need a couple of ideas or keywords. I don't really use that very much. So what I did with my deck is I colored the backs. Took me 5 days. Used the fine point rainbow Sharpies and some slightly thicker Sharpies. About like so. Although the black ones. So I went through the 2 of these and a bunch of the colors that I have left from several years ago of the fine point. So that took me a long ass time, and I had to keep convincing myself that once it was done, it would be done. So 5 days, several months ago. I'm having a good time now. I love these. I love these. Absolutely love them in this coloration. All the backs are slightly different. Same markers, just different stars colored in with the same colors. It's kind of a repeat pattern. So they're all individuals, and some of them the coloring is a little bit blank in spots where the marker got dry than it is on other spots, but it's fine. I love them in black and semi-rainbow better than the white starbacks. So if you're looking for a fun project and you have a Morgan-Greer deck and you want black backs on yours, just find some Sharpies and go to town. And again, it's a lot bigger project than you'll think. You might want to do it while you're watching TV or whatever, because it takes a while to get through them, because there's 78 cards. So I'm going to flip these over and we're going to go through them. It's fairly standard, so you could be comparing it to the mini Rider-Waite that was my first hit the deck review. Alright, so we're doing tarot. So some of the color obviously bleed through on the sides. You can see it's a little bit darker. Not quite as bright as these are that aren't colored in, so there's maybe a little bit of bleed through, but I think it's mostly because the edges are darker that it doesn't look as bright, but I like it. And some of it might like rub off a little bit. I think some of it has rubbed off a little bit, but it could be the watercolor from, or gouache or whatever the original. It might rub off a little bit. I mean, obviously you don't want to like stick them together when they're drying. You want to separate them and then they'll be fine. So it might be a little dingier than an undoctored deck, but I like it. Alright, so we have the Fool. One thing that is really distracting to me about this Fool card is that his little bindle looks kind of like truck nuts, like an orange ball sack, and I find that extremely distracting. These tend to have really intense backgrounds, so we have a lot of yellow here, which isn't typical of the Fool card, that, at least in my awareness, but I could be mistaken. There's a lot of white here as well. He's got this rose that usually appears on the Death card. His dog is a little variant of dog, still dog shaped, and he's not it's hard to tell if he's on the cliff or not, but he's definitely up in the mountains. So drawn in a particular 70s style, but very brightly colored. Really nice illustrations, again, except for that just tweaks me out. I'm not grossed out by it, but I just think it's distracting. And the Magician, also yellow. He's up in a castle tower, this guy. So he's got all the stuff down here. He's got flowers. There's like tomato sauce in his cup. Where is... Oh no, he's got all the stuff. Okay, and then he's got this wand here. So red and white. I feel like I've seen the Magician in red and white in other decks. Just kind of working that porn mustache. High Priestess, very blue here. Getting those Neptune vibes, although traditionally High Priestess card for some reason. Supposed to be ruled by the moon, but I like to switch it up and say that she's Neptune and the moon is the moon, because it just irritates me. So, I mean, there's a crescent moon here. She's got her third eye working overtime, but we do have these bluer / greener moments here. This is supposed to, I believe this is the sky back here, but it could be, you know, just a planet sitting above there, and we do have a white pillar and a black pillar here as per usual. The Empress, quite green here, some dark blue as well. She's got a crescent moon. Does she have a bunny? A lot of the time the Empress will have a bunny, but she's got a shield. She's got this bleeding heart situation here. She's got flowers. There's some kind of red onion something or other down here. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. A lot of the time the Empress is supposed to be pregnant, and I didn't really notice that until somebody complained about pregnant Empresses. I think she's just pretty solid here. I don't feel particularly that she's pregnant. But certainly giving off heavy Taurus vibes. But the Venus, the Empress, also rules Libra. We have Emperor, very much out in the desert. Phoenix, Aries energy, so he's got full on Aries fire regalia here. He's, you know, I feel like he's pretty interesting. He's wise because he's way here. He's got a little ram on his throne over here. There's not a lot to say about it. He's just a really good, solid emperor. The Hierophant coming out in orange. It's giving me like a little bit Oompa Loompa vibes because it's kind of orange in the face, but it does. It's like very 70s. Kind of reminds me of covers of like Heinlein paperbacks. It's got this antenna here for the TV. Sometimes there's like people down in front, but we've got keys here. Moon energy. So, I mean, fairly standard. Sometimes the Hierophant's called the Pope. But we have this dude with the crown activation. The Lovers. This is the Tryst in the Garden Lovers kind of thing going on here. Very sexy. It's like I don't dislike it and I don't like overly like it. It's just kind of like if you're using this deck and you get the Lovers card, it's almost impossible to think of anything else but like two people in a relationship really into each other. Because it could also be a choice or the healing, but especially in this deck, getting the Lovers, it's like, darn! You know what they're on about. So the Chariot, got some red here, which is slightly unusual. I feel like, for some reason, I feel like this is the King of Pentacles in this deck. Just makes me think of that. Just because he's like green with blonde hair, and I think that's what's going on. Yeah, he does look a lot like the King of Pentacles. But it's generally supposed to be the higher self of the united masculine and feminine energies, but either way. Very bold colors on here. Oh, that's weird they don't have back legs. That's kind of freaking me out now. Why you don't have back legs? Going for boldness of shape more than dimensional accuracy, which is nice. So here we have the Strength card. Lion coming in orange instead of just kind of a bland yellow color, which is nice. And I feel like the feminine is taking up more of the card than usual. Again, it was these yellow skyline here. Very green, lush kind of environments on a lot of these cards. So here's the Hermit. Getting these off black colors there in the background. Pretty standard Hermit card. He's not in a, well, he might be in a cave, but he looks more like he's on top of a mountain, and his lantern is shaped like a Merkaba. Merkaba. Wheel of Fortune. So here's the universal hand turning the wheel. This guy up here, there's this kid falling off who may or may not be the Fool. Let me see. Probably not. But anyway, there's some kid getting thrown off the wheel, and this king and queen up here partying the asses off. It's a very... Oh, I just heard Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin. But it's very much like we don't even care what's happening to this guy down here, where it's like we're ready to rock and roll up there. I actually like this Wheel of Fortune. It just gives... It's like more of a particular vibe than the traditional wheel that's more of a zodiac wheel. So Justice 11 in this deck. A lot of yellow. She's wearing red. I think Justice wears red on a fairly regular basis. Although often with white, not necessarily with green and purple. But I do feel like there's this kind of chakra progression here with these colors a little bit. There's two pillars here that are just barely visible on the edge, not differentiated by color, but we've got, you know, the sword and whatnot. Again, fairly standard, but the colors are very... and the way that it's drawn is very particular. It might give a slightly different mood than other decks. Hangman, also fairly standard, but just, again, drawn very bold. We get some clouds in the background. He looks a little bored, but also he's got this expression that looks like he's sort of trying to untie his hands. A little David Blaine action going on there, maybe. He's got red legs, and I've noticed some other hangmen that have like red and orange particularly. There's in the Aquarian Tarot, it looks more like he's got acid reflux, but here it's the red is just on his legs. So, I also feel like this darker energy here gives more of this like underworld going within, and then he's got this dark teal here, which might be more of that Neptunian energy, since Neptune rules this card. Death. So we have Scorpionic energy. There's that big white rose that the Fool holds. We've got the sun rising, the sort of red dawn, and very clearly death with the scythe there. Got some bold brooches on these cloaks here in this deck. It's sort of a little more bleak, but still has this pathway into the sunlight that a lot of the decks have. Temperance Angel, pretty standard, just again drawn in this very 70s style. Trying to get it without too much glare. There we go. Nicely drawn. I just don't have that much to say about it. I don't know what to say. Okay, so the Devil. I love this Devil card. I don't know. It makes me think of spiders. Probably because it's got little fangs. I just love the way that it's drawn. Is it a candle? Crown activation. We turn it upside down. We've got this pentacle here. And there's a fly in there. I believe it's supposed to be a fly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say. I just really like this particular Devil card. That big spidery goat head. And the green is nice too. Saturnian energy. It's nice to have a ring here too. And the Tower, fairly standard but really boldly drawn. I like the waves curling up on this tower. We've got fire, we got lightning, we got evil looking clouds coming through here. We've got a masculine and a feminine on their way through the gravitational field here. Really powerful, nicely rendered imagery. I like it. And the star card, fairly standard. Just nicely drawn. She's got her legs in that sort of half swastika shape. Again, originally that shape was not evil, but it's been corrupted since then. But we noticed that there's a, you know, like a square spiral situation happening here with her legs like normal. Birdies. The moon card, also fairly standard. So we got the lobster that's usually there, the two pillars, the big moon, a couple of dogs, and a pathway. Nothing too unusual here. Again, just if you're into this style of artwork, which I am, I recommend it. Sun card. Hot, boiling yellow and orange action like you would think of if you thought of the sun. This sun card is interesting because it's got the what looks like two kids that you would normally expect to see on the Six of Cups, which is sun energy. It's the sun in Scorpio. So it's kind of, instead of just having one kid riding naked on a horse, we've got two children here. And I almost like this better because we have representation of the masculine and the feminine. Although with like a toddler, like a naked toddler, you could say that it would be sort of combined gender neutral. But then we also have these sunflowers here to reiterate the sun energy. Everything's very golden. So, I mean, obviously the sun, the modeling like on the real sun, that people would have, I think, been able to see through telescopes at this point in the 70s when that was made. But just overall bold, intense color, very nice. Very nice. Judgment. Don't often see bright yellow on a Judgment card, but here's that little kid that's usually on the Sun card by himself, or their self. And the masculine and the feminine adult figures coming out of this ground. We have the Maltese cross here and this trumpet. Just sort of action lines too. I mean, it's not that dissimilar from Judgment, but instead of having an angel specifically, it's like the cloud. This cosmic cloud is blowing hot air through this trumpet. No, the Maltese cross actually just in general represents earth element. Judgment. Scorpionic energy, but fire. So we do get both of that with this underground and with this fire energy here. Kind of nice. Not my favorite card in the deck, but it's still interesting. So we have the World. Fairly standard. The colors make it look like a Christmas wreath for me. I like it. It's tight. The Ace of Rods. They're not messing about. This ace is friggin' huge. Look how big that is. It's like for caber tossing. Most of these wands in this deck, they're called rods in this deck, the variation. Most of them have branches on them, leaves. So this divine rod is clearly enormous. Look how small these trees are down here. Huge. Two of Wands, Two of Rods, fairly standard, just brightly colored. A lot of the time it's a young masculine looking out over a tower, kind of thinking to himself. Here it's sort of someone is coming in with the choice, because it's usually a choice, and he's trying to think about it. He's got a crystal ball there. So there's like an outside influence coming in, which is slightly different than the usual tone of this card, where it's like someone is just trying to figure out their own stuff, not necessarily, you know, more from the inside out than the outside in. So there's a little bit different with this card, and this just a really brightly colored shield or whatever that this kid's holding. Suitcase, I don't know. Three of Wands, fairly standard. He's not looking out to sea though, he's looking out into the desert mountains. A little bit of the Lion King energy there, like Simba. Very red, orangey Martian colors. Three, is that? Yeah, the sun in Aries, that's why. It's very red. And what's strange is that there's one pole behind him. A little bit more connotation of I'm putting the past behind me and trying to look out to different options, maybe. So with the Four of Wands, here for some reason we have a sand castle maybe instead of Greenland, but that this arbor here has a lot of active flora on it. So pretty standard, but again, just the background energy is a little different. Because even in the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, there was sort of this like barren, like cracked volcanic desert area, and there was a patch of green that the castle was sitting on. But here, everything is still just entirely barren. But it's like we're putting down this oasis, and we're gonna make it happen out of even less, maybe. Just kind of free-forming it here. Free float, whatever. I'm rapping on the subject. Five of Wands, fairly standard, although for some reason we have blue in the background, which is fine. Zooming in on these different kinds of hands. I will say that there's a lot of close-ups, but it's not like extreme close-up. It's again the detail that where it needs to be, and like nothing extra. So the Six of Wands, the hero coming in on his horse, more of that blue background. This looks a lot like the wreath from the world. It's pretty standard, although here it's from the front, and a lot of the time it's from the side. It allows like the zoom to come in a little bit. I really like this Seven of Wands. This guy is like, can you not? He is so sick of their shit. But he's still in the defensive mode. Sometimes there's a door for the Seven of Wands. Here it's more of the energy of like up on a mountain. There's more of this plateau behind him. It's really red. Like it's all brown, but it's also very red. Garrett's very much into the lower three chakras with this card, but I really like that guy's face. He's like, just like, I'm so sick of this. The man is tad. Eight of Wands, fairly standard. Sometimes when I'm reading this, I'll count like how many sticks have little pieces facing the inside of the wood, and it'll be relevant, but not always. Looks like the tower from the tower back there, I just realized. It's wooden. Anyway, pretty standard. A lot of the time it's 8 sticks flying through the air. Kind of like the Ace of Wands split into a bunch of little ones and just kind of started raining down in a weird sideways wooden rain kind of fashion. There's the 9. So this guy's walking back and forth on his little post circuit there. A lot of the time they don't even give that guy armor in the 9 of Wands. He's just kind of chunking along on his duty there, as per usual. 9 of Wands. Got the peanut gallery out there with the crows. Moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarian energy with this fire coloration. Ten of Wands. Back to the blue background. Pretty standard guy carrying a bundle of sticks, but we're getting, you know, zooming in a little bit. He doesn't look particularly happy. There's a lot of tension in his arm because he doesn't want to drop this and have to pick them all up again. Again, I like the way that these are rendered. It's kind of, it does remind me a lot of paperbacks that were printed in the 70s. But it's got this, it reminds me of Shel Silverstein's drawings too, because some of them had these little dots, like people just inking like forever with like partial pointillism. But in like bright colors. So Page of Rods, out in the desert like usual, very yellow in this red-brown tones. Not that dissimilar, but again, kind of close up. Knight of Rods, so all the knights with armor. I don't think it shows their horses. Presumably he's on a horse, like the Old Spice guy there. But I don't believe any of the knights actually show the horses. They just zoom in on the guy only from the waist. So he's got salamander on here. He's got this golden flame stuff. He's got a phoenix on his head, so you know what element he's in. He's got a battle club that's growing sprouts. So Knight of Rods, you know, he's in the fire element. It's a suit of armor. So Queen of Rods, she does not have her black cat hair here. She's looking very similar, matchy-matchy, to the Sun card. She's got her sunflower. She's just very golden. Really yellow. I feel like the Queen of Rods, to me, usually feels more like a brunette wearing red. So for me, this is a little bit more of like a Guinevere, Lady Godiva kind of energy. Sister Golden Hair Surprise. So the king is actually, he looks like he's out doing stuff, although he kind of looks like he's in a structure. I'm not sure what's going on right here. I guess he's on a castle rampart, but it looks like some weird tank diaper or something. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, the King of Rods looks like he's ready to go out and command a battlefield. And there's a few decks where the kings are sort of out and about and moving instead of just sitting on a throne. And this is one of those decks. What's the queen doing? I mean, she's kind of out in nature, too. She's not really cooped up in the castle, that we can tell. She's apparently standing. Ace of Cups. The Cosmic Hand with a big honking bird in it. So we have a lotus here. With a new bud and a dead bud. And here, this bird is just, like, all the way, like, in that water. Just enormous, huge, divine hand. Two of Cups. Pretty standard. It kind of looks like there's this darkness is maybe coming away from the scenery behind them. There's, the Star card in the Aquarian Tarot has a similar, either increasing or decreasing black cloud behind the main area situation. And I feel like is it? No? I was going to say, I feel like these should be switched. But I think in most Two of Cups cards, the feminine is over on this side. Pretty standard, just a close-up. And a Romeo and Juliet kind of vibes here. Three of Cups. Sunday brunch here. Wine brunch. Three Fates, maybe. close-up. Sometimes the when they're all looking at the camera, they can look kind of annoyed, and maybe this one is, but just very close up of this energy. Otherwise, pretty usual. I was like, stop dancing around, come in and let's get a selfie. 4 of Cups. Okay, so usually there's a kid laying against a tree and he doesn't want these cups, but here it's like he's part of this ivy vine and he's looking away from the cups at this divine hand. It's just kind of strange because the divine hand is actually smaller than these, but maybe it's because like these are still in focus and we're not really looking at this. Like this isn't sort of just like staring into space and not seeing this and avoiding these as well. Very similar to normal, but again, this kid is like in the vines instead of sitting up against a tree. Although in one deck it was an old guy, and I was like, what? In the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, it was an old guy on a tree instead of a kid. 5 of Cups. So we have the dark robes like we'd normally see. I feel like it's often near water, like on a beach or in a marsh. We have the 3 spilled cups with red coming out of them. Again, for some reason people are drinking like tomato sauce or Bloody Marys or whatever in this deck. And then the 2 behind the person that are harkening back to the 2 of Cups. Like they're usually 3-2 split, and the 2 intact cups behind the person because they're not really looking at them. Fairly standard. Just, again, boldly colored. Close-up kind of vibe. 6 of Cups, so we got the young feminine and young masculine cups and flowers. Like boots and cats, but cups and flowers. Boots and cats and boots and cats. Cups and flowers. Sun energy, because it's the sun in Scorpio, a lot of yellow. Is that right? Am I right? You see Scorpio? Popcorn! The popcorn card. 7 of Cups. Very much vending machine kind of vibes. What kind of snacks are you getting at the movie theater? I need divergence. So, from deck to deck, the stuff in the cups vary. Oh, I guess it's a butterfly on fruit and jewels. And we have a severed head and a mask and the wreath from the world card. A coiled snake, a dragon, and some red towers. There's almost always a severed head and some kind of dragony, snaky creature. And some kind of jewelry. The other stuff tends to vary. But anyway, the 7 of Cups. This one, I just call it the popcorn card because those clouds look like popcorn. It makes me want snacks. 8 of Cups. Fairly standard. A lot of the time, this card will have a moon on it, and we see that here. We see this at the water side. This person, I think, almost always is wearing a cloak when there's actually the person in the card. So this card, the character has got a red cloak, little Red Riding Hood vibes going on. If there's a jump there, it's because the camera segment stopped when I was not looking. So pretty standard, but again with the close-ups and the bold coloring. So the 9 of Cups here. I think I need to take this vitamin out of my mouth till I'm done with this. The 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Just make sure that looks like it's focused all right. I think that's pretty good. What did I say this was? Oh yeah. Jupiter in Pisces, which is, as I'm recording this, what we have going on right about now. Right about now. Oh, Check It Out Now, or is it Right About Now? That Fat Boy Slim song stuck in my head. So this blue-greenish teal color back here, the drapery on this curved table, leads into that Neptunian Piscean color, and then we have these brown, reds, orange, and yellow with the fire element of the Sagittarius. This guy looks like he's been drinking the wine samples there and got a little bit toasty. I feel like this is sort of similar to a lot of Nine of Cups. I feel like there isn't always like a drunk merchant-y guy in it, but maybe. Ten of Cups. Rainbow action here. This kind of looks like the masculine and the feminine. Is it from... Maybe it's the same. No, it's not. But a masculine arm and a feminine arm could be coming together in the relationship with emotional contentedness, or it could just be unification of self. But either way, emotional fulfillment here. I feel like this is a little bit different than Ten of Cups tends to be, although I feel like there's often a rainbow on that card. I don't even know what the... I don't remember what the Ten of Cups looks like in the Rider-Waite. Anyway. Yeah, I have no idea. Page of Cups. Fish in the Cup. This ensemble here. I gotta show you what this makes me think of, though. Ensemble. My ensemble. Watch me not be able to find this book because there's no edges left on them. There's no spines because they're so old. Oh, I even found it. Party bonus. Okay. This kid. Just gotta find it. Yeah. Fully reminds me of this guy. This guy right here. There we go. Yeah. So close up of this guy. Is there another picture of him? There's the back view. Looks like he's got a bunch of gloves on his head. Anyway. Well-loved tale, Sleeping Beauty. Period Hattery. Anyway, just a close-up. He's got a couple roses on his doublet there. I like that kid. Right. Knight of Cups. Water Crest. Wing Crest. Scaled Armor. Because he's a watery guy. Again, you don't see the horse because we're in a close-up, but he's looking where he's going, and he's got that cup tightly grasped to make sure it gets where it's going. Queen of Cups, also a close-up. We don't see a throne. But there's this big shell behind her. I don't think she's meant to be holding it. I guess it's just kind of hanging in the air there. She's got a moon here and a pearl drop. So we see her out on the water. We don't know if she's on the shore there or if she's on a boat. On a boat, motherfucker, did you ever forget? Her hair looks like bread. Sort of billowy wave things there. And this shell crown. I mean, kind of what you'd expect to see for a Queen of Cups, I guess. Again, no throne in sight, but... oh, her cup doesn't have a lid, though. I think she's usually got a fish in her cup with a lid on it, maybe. I think that's the only difference that I really see, but again, it's just a close-up. I like that peachy color. King of Cups. He's got some headgear on. And again, he's got a scaled armor thing going, too. And his waters are a little greener. But, I guess it kind of looks like tentacles. Tentacle hat. But anyway, I mean, there isn't really any interesting way to describe him. He just looks sort of peaceful. Right? He's emotionally tranquil. Don't have much to say about him, but I like him. And again, he's got these watery texture details. So Ace of Swords. Sometimes there's like two different kinds of laurels on it, and here they're kind of streaming off the side. Got like a Snow White and Rose Red action happening here. We have mountains here, indicating that it's high up. There's huge hand in the sky. Again, these sort of popcorny clouds. And often it does have a crown around it, so we see that. Pretty standard. Just, again, detail and color. Two of Swords. So we've got a close-up here, so we assume that the girl is on the beach, which is where she normally is. Kind of in the backyard near the water, I guess. Very detailed. A lot of the time this character is dressed in white or light blue, I think. But we have more detail in the outfit here. Slightly varying colors, moon energy, and then blindfolded with the two swords like you'd expect to see. Same theme running there, detail and close up. Same with the Three of Swords. Pretty standard. We got some dark clouds rolling in. Get that depression energy. Bloody sword right through the middle. Just a juicy looking heart there. It's just nice to have all that color on a card that's just does not have a lot of variation from deck to deck. I like that. Four of Swords. We have a close-up here. Now here the Sword of Truth that's separate is looking smaller, but it's because it's further away and outside. It's like you have to get outside of yourself by going within to get it. And we don't see any face, but we see this fall leaves here indicating stuff coming into a rest, and then this suit of armor lying there. So, nicely done. Mostly the same as usual. Five of Swords. This is sort of, I don't know if this is a sunrise or a sunset. I feel like it's more sunrise after a battle kind of energy. But it's still, it's like the sun is barely rising and it's dark. It gives a very specific mood. And then we have two swords separate from the other three. Or perhaps these three together and these two nestled together separately. But either way, there's a 5-2 split. Although, on this card, it does make me think of the Five of Swords in the Wild Unknown Tarot, because that one has two on one side, two on the other, and one in the middle. And this is giving a little bit more of that configuration. But typically there's two separate and three together somehow with this card. Just a little bit different than usual. Six of Swords. Fairly standard. I don't see this woman holding a kid. She's holding herself, it looks like. And then the guy rowing 6 swords into the boat. This one just gives me like really specific lake vibes. You know, like I might know where this lake is in real life. Very tactile. And then the shore is a little bit fuzzy, but and the way that this feminine figure is positioned gives this like more of a stressed out, like I'm on my way to get out of a situation kind of energy. And even so, the water here is a lot choppier than it is on this side where they're heading. Right. Pretty standard. The Seven of Swords. So we're back into this yellow vibe here. So we have 5 together and 2 separate, like you would normally see. This guy's clearly making off with as much as he can carry. It looks a little bit heavy, like almost wasn't able to carry those ones. What's interesting is that they're all in shadow. I don't think I've noticed that in this deck before. I don't think I get this card very often in this deck. I get it quite a bit in other decks, though. 8 of Swords. Sort of a tower looming behind here. Don't often see that. This woman is actually dressed. I think a lot of the time she's naked, although I could be mistaken. But the red is noticeable. Again, tied up and blindfolded like you'd normally expect to see. Surrounded by the 8 swords. Although there's clearly a wide opening where if she could see what she was doing, she'd be able to get out. Slight variation. Otherwise, pretty normal. So this 9 of Swords is fairly different. So we have a binding here. And then this, again, this red sunrise / sunset. Well, I was going to say it could be the sunrise, but either way, we have a red sky. And we have this being bound into the nightmare energy. The swords are hanging over the person, but instead of somebody of a feminine figure weeping, it looks like a masculine figure that's bound. I mean, it could be anybody's hands, but they do look a little bit more masculine. Says I with my giant hands. A lot of the time, this almost takes on an energy of anger than of fear. 9 of Swords. Oh, of course, it's Aries and Gemini. Aries energy. That's where all that red is coming from. So here, it's much more anger than fear. It's like this nightmare again. If I have this dream one more time, I'm going to punch my fist through the wall. Instead of, oh no, I'm afraid. Like, I wake up crying because I can't bear it. The struggle is real here. 10 of Swords. Making it extra insult to injury to have it snowing. The dead of winter. It's like, Merry Christmas, overkill. The hand already looks decaying. Fairly standard, but really noticeable with this contrast between the white snow and the red blood. Again, look at the blackness. This is the kind of blackness that you would normally see on this card. I don't get this card that much in this deck. Again, but with other decks. Page of Swords. There's a red energy here. It's like, it looks like nuclear power stacks, but it's actually like columns, like at Pompeii. This could be like a volcanic activity back here, which I think I have seen sometimes before with this card, although I don't think I get it very often. But the Page of Swords, he's out on duty, but, you know, Page of Swords is usually not that confident. That's probably why he's got both hands on the sword. He's like, ooh, I don't know, man. Knight of Swords. This guy has seen some shit. Look at this. He's got the tower on fire behind him. His sword's all bloody. There's this, like, intense light. This guy is into it. He does not have time for any BS. I like that guy a lot. Queen of Swords. She looks very youthful compared to how I would normally think the Queen of Swords to be. Like Snow White instead of the Queen of Hearts. So those red flowers, this popcorn cloud here. Just notice that her head is spiky. The crown opening there. Access to the truth. Spade shapes too. Not noticed that before. Yeah, she's got those cosmic downloads coming right through the crown. She's got a little spot here on her throat too. It gives me indication of the throat chakra. But I guess maybe she's deceptively youthful. Right? She hasn't aged herself by trying to cover up a bunch of lies. King of Swords. It's like the knight, but he grew a beard. I'm not sure what the wheat signifies there. He's got oak leaves too. I don't get him very often when I read with this deck. But, I mean, he's just kind of there. He looks like he's kind of meditating on this sword. There's clouds. Yeah, I mean, there's sky and there's clouds, so clearly they're in the air element. A lot of flora there growing. There's not that special, it's just they're close up, and again, it's, I mean, not that different than usual, but they're sort of distinct characters, you know, like, you're like, hey, who's that guy? There's, like, personality to these cards. Ace of Pentacles, so often we see the gateway. We have that here, too. These contrasting flowers, giant hand. Pretty standard. Yeah. Two of Pentacles. So often this guy's on the sea. Sometimes there's a ship on the ocean, and we see that here. It's not necessarily look like he's juggling these, but they do have this gear-like infinity situation happening, which happens in many decks. Very detailed, bold colors again. It's Jupiter in Capricorn, which makes this blue and green coloration seem a little bit strange, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's just, like, it looks kind of like this guy is, like, really deep in thought, which you would have to be if you're making a choice. Three of Pentacles. We get the Apprentice hacking away on the Cathedral. Pretty standard, but again, we have this different bold color scheme, close-up detail. And you can see, this is like, you know, it's dark in there. They haven't put any candles in yet. The sun is setting and he's still doing the work, kind of. Little scene there. Four of Pentacles, so we see this youthful king or princeling here. Holding on to the stuff. I mean, because it's a close-up, you don't see them under his feet, but he looks like he's trying to hang on to those as best he can, trying to balance them on his knees so they don't roll away. He's got one stuffed on the hat there. It's fairly standard imagery. Again, they're just kind of crowded in because of the close-up. Five of Pentacles, so they're outside of the cathedral like normal. Because it's close up, it's sort of compressed. It's a little different because the pentacles are all red and yellow in this deck. Not only is this kid outside and hungry, he's still lame, he's got a stick, but now he's been kicked by a horse apparently as well. Just to make it extra funsies. Six of Pentacles. This red carpet situation here is cascading here. So we got the beggar's hands, we got the rich looking dude, he's got a scale, he's got coins. What you would expect to see, but again, vibrant color, characters with some personality. Seven, he got a hoe. So these pentacles are growing on this bush different than they normally would because it's close up. So they're all clumped together like little berry clusters. And, you know, he's like, he looks like a really, like, sunburnt, like, spray tan George Harrison, kind of. But he's like, hey, man, is it time to harvest these yet? And they're like, no, man, just weed it a little bit. He's like, man, been waiting all summer for these fucking things to grow. Eight of Pentacles. So we got a dude working on making the pentacles, like we often see, but just close up. A lot of red energy here that I don't normally see on that card. This one, extremely purple. So much purple. Nine of Pentacles, Venus and Virgo. Yeah, Venus and Virgo. Purple and green, really nice combo. A little bit of diversity in this deck. This darker skinned woman here. Sometimes she's got some kind of fancy bird, so she's got one here. She's wearing the pentacles as a necklace. Don't often see that. Normally they're on a bush of some kind still, but to show that she's into some fecundity here, she's got a bunch of grapes, a couple bunches of grapes. So just close up, hanging out. And again, really interesting with these color schemes here. Ten of Pentacles. I don't see a kid in this. It's just the masculine and the feminine in what looks to be a fairly nice home because they've got enough money for a couple of standard flags here at the entrance. So 10 Pentacles, simplified, close up, even closer up than the one in the Aquarian Tarot, which was somewhat similar to this. What a turban. A turban here. So that could be the same lady. Although her skin is like yellow in here. Like it bled over from all this sunlight. Page of Pentacles, very yellowy and red energy. Pentacle's so big it's hanging off of the edge of the card. I think, is that? Kind of, yes. I'm going to show the Queen a little bit ahead of time, but when I see the page, I feel like this is part of the same scene where he's coming up to her with the pentacle, and these are supposed to go together like that. He's bringing her the message. They're just really matchy-matchy, for me anyway. But yeah, well-dressed kid, interesting colors, close-up. We know what it's of. So here's the knight. He's got this weird sun in the sky, I guess. Just the Knight of Pentacles energy. Leo in Virgo. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's the sun. It's a Leo energy. So he's got, his crest is all greenery because he's in the Pentacles. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be up here, but he's, you know, pretty sturdy looking armor. He's jousting. You can see, I guess you can see just a little tiny bit of his horse. There's a little bit of brown here before the olive greenish background. And then his pentagram is kind of rounded because it's on a shield. But he's not charging. His jousting stick is up, right? So he's not galloping. He's in a holding position. So the Knight of Pentacles is usually the slow knight. Snow Light. So anyway, here's the Queen again. She's got this fall energy going on with her leaves. And what is she? Supposed to be spring energy. She's still wearing last year's leaves apparently, but I don't know, she has a really pleasant face. She looks like she's intently listening to someone. She's like, go on. Yes, and what? I do feel like these leaves here are the fall leaves. It's comes in more with this idea that a queen can be a 13 in the deck with death energy, so she controls the the gestation and the decay as well. And we see that aspect here. A little bit different than the normal Queen of Pentacles, who's just sort of dripping in greenery. I like her though. King of Pentacles, He-Man up in here. Hey, so he does look a little bit like the guy on the chariot. I'm gonna bring that back up. He looks a little bit like this guy. Like when he graduates from being the king and grows his mustache, he's going to drive the chariot. He looks a little bit young. But anyway, I mean, he's what you would expect to see of a King of Pentacles, dripping in greenery. He's like Dionysus over here with the grapes and everything. He's got his pentacle, he's got his scepter. There's just so much yellow here. It just kind of washes him out a little bit. But he is, he's got antlers. He's got horns on here because he's Aries and Taurus energy. So it might be why there's so much yellow here as well. But that's it. That's the Morgan-Greer deck. And I'm going to do a shuffle sample. Mine are a little bent. I don't know if you can see. They're a little swoopy because I've been shuffling them a lot. But what I try to do is I try to shuffle them the other way. Just try to bend them back. This deck doesn't perform any different since I colored it. So I'm going to get... Let me move the camera. They're fairly thin, but they're fairly crispy. This one, of course, yeah, let me hold up the one that I bent. They're fairly crispy, they're pretty thin. They're easy to they're an easy width to hold on to. So even if you have small hands and you can't, if your hands are too small to hold the entire card, like that, they should be of a decent size that you can shuffle them like this. Of course, I didn't do them close enough, so they didn't go in very well. But mine are kind of bent from side to side, too, from doing that. I don't know if I can do it backwards. It might be too... Yeah, they don't really go that way. But yeah, they work pretty well. They're easy to shuffle. Better. Let's do one this way. Oh man, I'm getting that Sharpie waft. There we go. That's why they're all bent. I keep trying to shovel them back the other way. Yeah, they're pretty easy to shuffle if you don't drop them. There. Shuffle sample. So because I don't have their original flimsy / busted purple border cardboard box, because I threw it out, when I store them, I get the silicone band, purple, because the box was purple, and I will store them inside of a larger box. Not this one, but, you know, just go like... stick it in there. In one of the other boxes with a bunch of other tarot decks. So anyway, the Morgan-Greer Tarot. Again, if you buy them and you don't spend a bunch of time coloring them in, they'll look like this. And then the fronts will... I didn't do anything with those, so those are the same. And we'll have this... I don't know what size the ones that come in the tin are. I don't know if they're smaller than this, or if they're the same size and they just come in a tin. I did not want the tin, so I did not get that one. Alright, so that was the review. I give it like 9 out of 10, recommend, and then if with it like this, 10 out of 10. Because it's so pretty now. Alright, if you would like to, if you enjoyed my long and painstaking review, you can subscribe and stay on top of that Cats Hit the Deck review playlist. If you'd like me to read tarot for you, the complete list of tarot readings that I offer and how much they cost is going to be in the description box underneath this video, and then on my website, which is through the link tree, it's WordPress, Cat the Minion at WordPress. There's a home page, and then there's a second page that is the same list of readings that I offer, and it's got a green background and little pictures. But I also have a readings for sale playlist, so if you want to see those readings in action, then you can watch them on the playlist. I've got art items. This is a sample of one of my art. Fashion designs, dinosaurs, celebrities, abstract, psychedelic stuff, angels, mermaids, fairies, dragons, that kind of stuff. So there's going to be merch and prints and actual art items, Cafe Press, DeviantArt, and Etsy. If you buy on Etsy, you can use this coupon code 3star17, get 17% off. If you travel through the link tree to Etsy, that should pop in at the top. If you'd like to donate to my channel, help me keep this kicking, energy exchange, hit that tip jar, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. And again, if you want stuff for money, I have all these things. And I got a couple of coloring books, a dark poetry book as well. What else am I doing? Oh, the chapbook packs. I just packed up like 60 more of these things that I had hanging around. I printed out a bunch of stuff. So chapbook packs is like a synchronicity stimulus packet. I have these envelopes, like this one that I made from a calendar, or this one that I made from the envelope that I bought in a giant set of envelopes. It's a lot easier to make this one when I just pulled it out of the package. So there's going to be like a drawing folded up in there, and a couple of printed cards, a couple of individual little art cards. So 2 printed cards, 2 handmade cards, a bigger drawing like the one that I just pulled out of here, and a little chapbook, which is going to have some of the poetry in it and a little drawing on the front. So what these do is they're like a synchronicity stimulus. It's like throwing down a few cards with images, writing, numbers, if you can read my little, the dates that I've written scribbled on things. It's just, you know, a bunch of different artwork that I've had piling up for decades. And instead of leaving it in a pile, I put it in here, and now it can be a little synchronicity thing. So you get the packet, and you're like, what's this? A picture of something. And it's like, oh, it's a picture of a lion. And now I know that I have a synchronicity because of some Leo thing, or I like lions, or whatever like that, you know? So that's what it does. Or there can be, you know, you read it and there's a poem in there and you're like, oh my god, the feels. I have felt the feels. So that's what it is. It's just a little mystery pack. Little art stuff. Something fun for the kids. And by kids, I mean grown adults. So that's available in Etsy, and they're a few bucks each, and that's, you get 3 of them, you get a discount. So all that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye!